All right, hola guys, ¿qué paso? How's everyone doing? This is Jalapablo. So yeah, Bitcoin is pumping. Bitcoin wants to pump, and we got to go with the market. I don't have a fractal anymore that I'm confident in. Uh, so yeah, uh, it's clear that we're bullish now, and we will be bullish until that changes. Something changes. We've gotten to this liquidity void right here. We've reached the top, just shy of 100,000, which, like what I said, is before. It's 100 grand is like a psychological level. So I do think that we'll go through it, um, but it is possible still of a sell off shortly thereafter, kind of like what we had here when we first breached, not not far above 100,000. Went up another 4 or 5,000 from here, and then we had this sell off. If you remember back in December, remember it was 14, 15%. So something like that is possible. But I do think that we're most likely going to clear this liquidity void and go up from there. We may even mitigate the all-time high and go above it. I'm not gonna say anything. I've never really. I don't know if you've watched my videos in the past. I'm very very careful about saying I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know everything. It's just because this area up here, when most other traders were bullish and I had that bearish narrative. Well, it's because of certain patterns that I just happened to recognize and the mitigation of the highs here. It just seemed logical that we were due for a sell off, and so I stuck to my narrative and I gained a bunch of followers because of that, and then somehow the people began to believe that I had some kind of special knowledge or I was the trader of all traders, and I really, quite frankly, didn't like that. And so I'm actually happy that something like this happens because it breaks the spell or the myth that I'm some kind of guru. I'm really not. I'm just a regular dude who's been successful in crypto and trading in general and chart analysis, but there's also periods where I missed the mark, as you've seen, and I don't have a problem admitting that. I was wrong. I was expecting a pullback. The pullback didn't happen. I think the pullback can still happen, but as of right now, officially, I have to concede. This has gone above and beyond where I believed it would go, where I really thought it would go, and so I should have been a bit quicker in realizing that and recalibrating my technical analysis. But I stuck with the fractals, and I still have the fractals on the back burner, but I'm not going off them as prevalently as I was, say, like 2 or 3 like weeks ago. So anyway, just to let you guys know that I'm not shying away from anything, and I'm glad that this happened because it gives it's always good to be humbled, and I believe that humility is the key to receiving grace from God, and so patience, humility, and wisdom. It's what it's all about. Nobody's right 100% of the time. At some point, we're going to have a sell off, and it's just going to get so bullish that there's going to be a sell off, and you're going to see a bunch of bulls now getting getting confused, getting wrecked. And then there's going to be someone with a bearish narrative who's going to look like they have all the answers. So anyway, all that. I'm long-winded. I apologize for that. But yeah, so what do we do from here? Well, if you can't beat them, you join them, right? We always have to go with the market. The market is king, right? So it doesn't matter what our technical analysis says, and we need to be able to abandon it or drop our technical analysis if it's going the wrong way. And so that's what's happened here. And so what do we do from here? Again, so I have the over here on a 4 hour, I have this this structure here. I don't know whether to call it a top or a bottom at this case. A case can be made that this is the preliminary supply, and as you see, we have the anchored VWAP still to it, kind of like what we did all throughout this distribution, this first half of this range here. And so you could see where the price action fell through the ice here, remember, and we were decisively bearish at this point, and the bulk of all of this triple bottom here took place beneath the ice, and so we were all good here. But now you see we've come up and we've jumped the creek. So now this is no longer the ice barrier. We're going to refer to it as the creek. And so until we go back down under it, if that ever happens, I believe it will happen, we just don't know when, we are going to shift our narrative from bearishness to that of bullishness. And so we see that we had this bounce here, and we've gone back up to the heights and to the rim, as it were, of this liquidity void, which kind of resembles this area here. I have this on the 3-day over here on the left. This area, remember my last video, I kind of speculated that this is also possible. And so you see how we retested the ice here. We had this bounce. It's kind of like this here. And so maybe I should use a different color brush so you could see it. So something like this, and then this would prove to be an accumulation zone. And so what did it do? Well, it went up and it mitigated the high, and it went above it as well. So if it's going to follow in this pattern, then we should kind of expect perhaps something similar to happen. So we had this bounce, and now up, and now depending on if we get stopped out here, and we'll know if the price comes back down again to retest the anchored VWAP, and then we'd have to monitor it to see if it stays above or goes beneath. I suspect it'll stay above it at this point now. I mean, we just have to be practical. Unless something really terrible comes out in the news, and something, with Trump or the Federal Reserve or the FOMC or something, some kind, or a war or something that would send like a black swan to send this thing down. Unless that happens, I'm going to maintain bullishness on this, and especially with the alts. And so now this is good, because this is actually where I make my money, is going long. And so I'm looking forward to seeing this bullishness maintained, perhaps above this anchored VWAP, and then we'll be looking into the alts. But for now, here, let me erase this. Remove 16. Yeah, we'll just do this. We'll just do a quick Fibonacci extension off the lows and the highs of this accumulation. That's what it is. And we see that the 1618 is actually the mitigation of the liquidity void, and we've already hit that when we're kind of stalling a little bit here, but because this is an important area. This is a macro liquidity void, this whole area here. And so we're right at the lip of 100,000. Remember, like we talked about in the beginning of this video, that psychological level, that 100,000. So if we prevail through this through this liquidity void, and we establish support on top of the 1618 fib extension, then we're going to be going to bigger and better things, reaching heights of the 2, and perhaps even the 272, which would be up into the new all-time high area of 107.6, somewhere up there. So we're just going to keep an eye on it. And so that's all I've got for now. So yeah, guys, again, none of this is financial advice. Obviously not financial advice. I hope that's clear now. And it's also clear that I'm fallible, and I'm the first to admit when I get it wrong. And so, but we're gonna pick up, and we're gonna go from here. We're gonna go with the wave. We're not gonna fight the waves, and go against the flow of the river or against the tide. We're gonna go with the waves. Okay, and so this is what I'm seeing as I'm letting go, and I'm going with the waters. And so you do your thing. If you want to remain with a fractal, or you want to remain bearish, you can do that. But I don't see why at this point. We're still expecting at some point a sell-off. That's just what happens. It's like when we get too bearish, we expect the pump. When we get too bullish, we expect the pullback. So we're going to have that in mind. But let's not miss any more gains at this point. Me personally, I'm going to wait and see what happens here at the 618 fib extension, and then from there, I'm going to be looking at perhaps a shift in the altcoin dominance, and maybe start seeing some of these alts rise in tandem with Bitcoin, and kind of played by ear there. All right, guys. We'll talk to you later. God bless each and every one of you. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for not completely just nuking me in the comments and all that. I appreciate your grace. And yeah, you win some, you lose some. We did well on the distribution. We kind of missed out here, but hopefully we can catch some gains now, and before any kind of pullback, if and when that happens, and then we'll gauge how far it'll go down at that time. All right, guys, not financial advice. God bless each and every one of you in Jesus' name. We'll talk to you again soon. Adios. Bye-bye.